No, we don't have any additional information at this time. Our detectives, there's video footage, there's a bunch of evidence for them to use. My message to the community, though, and I made a social media post about it this weekend, it was an altercation that happened that turned into a senseless act of violence where a young man, 19 years old, lost his life. We need the community to talk to their brothers, their sisters, friends, family, about valuing life overall. I mean, that's the topic of this conversation that we're having today about COVID-19. We have to consistently value life, whether it's a matter of us combating a virus or whether it's a matter of us combating senseless acts of violence like what we saw this weekend. We need the community to help us. It's no way that myself or Shreveport Police Department, we can stop acts like that. We need you to get involved. If you see something, please say something. Not even saying something to the authorities necessarily, but say something to that family member, that friend that you know is walking out of the house with a pistol or with whatever kind of weapon that that we continually see being used in our community, and just tell them, hey, it is not worth it. It is absolutely not worth it. It's completely unnecessary. I'm working with Chief Raymond right now and Chief Antoine White to do all that we can to continually work with other agencies and form task force to attack this crime this summer. But again, we cannot do it alone. We need the community to get involved so that we can stop senseless acts of violence like we saw at the mall this weekend and like we've seen at a pretty high tick over the last couple weeks.
Mayor, general consumer media this week has said that there was an uptick in violence as it relates to the COVID. Are you seeing that? Are we an exception to that rule? There's a lot of tension out there because of all the restrictions and fear and everything.
Yeah. And I don't want to directly tie it to COVID. I'll say this as far as Shreveport goes. This year our crime rate is above where it was last year. But last year was an exceptional year with us being at a 45-year low. So we are seeing more crime this year. And we're going through COVID. We're going through an economic crisis. We know how poverty is tied to violence oftentimes. We know how minimal resources is tied to violence. So it could be that. But at the end of the day, even if you are anxious about what's going on with this virus, even if you're frustrated about that or what's going on in your particular household, if you're struggling, to make ends meet, to take care of your family, again, those senseless acts of violence, like, we cannot handle them. Those are last resorts that will actually completely compromise what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day anyway. So I'm not sure what the root cause of it is, but I do know that the solution lies within all of us. Thank you.
One more comment about the crime.
Yeah, the police. There is a comment on policing. Good to go. One additional comment on crime in our community. I will say that we did suspend the task force that we regularly do every quarter because of COVID for the last 5 months or so. So that also could have some relationship to the uptick in crime that we're seeing. But we are resuming that at this time. We're working on resuming that at this time. So we will hopefully be able to get more uniformed officers out in our streets to kind of curb the violence that we're seeing. So I wanted to add that as a note. That I can't explain what the task force. I'll just say multiple agencies form a task force to try to find illegal guns and various things on the streets. But I don't want to go into too many details due to operational security reasons. Yeah, so.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It is a
It is a multiple agency task force that last year was extremely successful, that we haven't been able to do for the last couple months because of COVID-19. So that will be resuming, and hopefully we see the numbers go back down. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.